I'm John Howard. In this short video, I'm going to discuss how a 3.5% down payment on an investment property can yield a 57x ROI, increase someone's net worth 1.599 million, and get them $522,000 or more cash flow conservatively. I'm going to start this video off with a quote. Our favorite holding period is forever. Invest for the long haul. Patience is a virtue in the market. And that quote is by the famous Warren Buffett. You think you need to put 20% down and you know that you need millions in capital to start building a real estate portfolio? Nope, you don't. Here is the 57x investment in front of everyone's face that may shock you. A 3.5% down payment on an investment property can deliver a 57x return over 30 years. And that's just from appreciation. It does not include rental income and cash flow or tax benefits or the ability to borrow against the property to acquire more, right? Instead of traditional investment property loans, we're going to use primary residential financing. So what is this? This is going to be 3.5% down, not 20%. We're going to live in the property for 1 year. We're going to convert the property to an investment property or a rental after 1 year of living in it. Then we're going to reap the rewards of rental income and cash flow, appreciation, tax benefits, and forced savings through amortization. So here are the numbers. So we're going to purchase a $500,000 property and we're going to move into it. We're going to use a loan that allows for 3.5% down. The loans right now for that are FHA. And what's great about the FHA is actually it kind of caters, the credit requirements are not that strict. It's a 580 minimum FICO. So this should be approximately $17,500 out of pocket for the down payment. That doesn't include closing costs. For the purpose of this calculation, this video of 57x, we're going to assume 2% closing costs are $10,000 for a $500,000 property plus the $17,500 for the down payment. Once it's an investment property, it should cash flow $1,500 per month minimum. Here's a side note. If the investor does short and medium term furnished rentals, it should cash flow way more than $1,500 per month. I've experienced $37,000 months from just 2 SMTR furnished rentals. And just as a side note, I actually have a third property that's in my portfolio where I have a partial interest. But just the 2 that I own, just my name, I have seen a month that's that high. On average, it's usually about $12,500 up to $40,000 per month, and usually multiple months in every single year. I'll have booking revenue of about $20,000 or more, right? Now, in terms of the cash flow, because I do short and medium term furnished rentals, my cash flow figure over 29 years is going to be way higher than $500,000. And just to do super simple math, the way that I've kind of calculated it, it's going to be around loosely, let's say $80,000 in cash flow after all bills are paid per year. And then if I multiply that over 29 years, that's actually way more than $2 million. If you just use the rental income figure and you don't factor in all the expenses, that's going to be actually over $4 million in rental income over 29 years. So obviously a lot higher than the $522,000 that I listed at the beginning of the video. Okay, so 29 years pass and the property value has appreciated to $1.599,312.31. The U.S. national appreciation average 1967 to the end of 2024 was 4.24%. The mortgage was a 30-year mortgage and the property is now paid off. 29 of those years, tenants or guests paid all expenses of the property, provided you cash flow, property equity, and tax benefits of depreciation and then active income offset if you can qualify for that. If you like any of this content, if you are in a place where you like this rentals content, I have some links in the description. What you can do is you can click on the link, or also an email address. You can contact me if you're somebody that is if you're interested in maybe speaking with somebody that's a little bit further ahead of you. I have something called an SMTR launch kit, short medium term rentals launch kit. Very inexpensive, and I also have a way to kind of work with people. Again, just very basic, simple coaching in various forms. So you go ahead and
see those links in there. Also, you can consider subscribing to the channel or giving the video a like. And then you also, if you know somebody, maybe not yourself, but if you know somebody that might like this content, you can send it to them. Thank you.
For context, from 1995 to 2025, which is 30 years, the Nasdaq returned 2,111% or 21x. The S&P 500 returned 1,008% or 10x. The Dow returned 847% or 8.5x. Take note, properties don't automatically cash flow. You may need to force cash flow through renovations, ADUs, short-term furnished rentals, medium-term furnished rentals, or rent by room. Like there's a new website out there called Pad Split, where you can, rent a house and rent each room to different people. This whole thing is about building 5 to 10 properties over 10 years and letting appreciation, rental income and cash flow, tax benefits, and forced savings do the heavy lifting and work its magic through compound interest. While faster than average cash flow is now available and achievable with short and medium-term furnished rentals, real estate investing cash flow alone may not replace your W-2 income within 2 years. So you can keep your day job or whatever your income streams are. You can add $2,000 per month bricks in real estate cash flow, reinvest profits or equity gained to buy more properties. You can let time, income and cash flow, amortization through forced savings, appreciation, and tax benefits work their magic. We don't need massive capital. We need strategy, patience, and willingness to be uncomfortable while we build something meaningful. So there you go. I think that's pretty compelling. If you think about 57x, I mean, that's basically more than twice what the Nasdaq did for 30 years. So it's definitely pretty compelling. Obviously, if you could put 3.5% down, and again, factoring in 57x, I did factor in what is 2% down for closing costs, assuming 2%. So I think 500,000 is a realistic property value for an investment property. Out here in Southern California, that might not be realistic, and especially in like larger cities these days, it might not be realistic. But maybe you could get something in between, like let's say something like 300 and 500 in other towns. But there you go. There is a strategy, and that's a strategy that I'm kind of employing myself. I mean, one of my investment properties I've had for more than 20 years, and the other one I've had actually not 20 years yet, and then I've got a third where I've got a partial interest, but that's not even close to 20 years. But basically, it really starts to become a very, it's a slow moving huge ship at first, but then that ship picks up steam as you surpass 5 to 10 years. But there is the strategy. Let me know if you like that strategy, if it makes sense, if you think twice what the Nasdaq does and the performance of the Nasdaq is impressive. Everybody, as you can tell, I've been doing content on real estate lately. I also do other content on investing. If you are someone that is interested in real estate investing and are not yet doing it, you'll see some links in the description. I came out with something called the SMTR Launch Kit, which stands for Short and Medium Term Rentals. Launch Kit, very basic program, very inexpensive. You can go check that out. Click on the link. You'll also see an email address in there. If you have any questions, you can also leave a comment in the comments area if you have any questions. As I kind of told you about my particular experience over the last 2 decades, and also during that time, I launched and operated 4 different businesses that all became 7 figures or more per year businesses. The reason I say that is because it's building a real estate portfolio, and achieving, wealth with it and getting some rental income and cash flow is very achievable for somebody with a very demanding career, whether that be an entrepreneur that's very dynamic, or it is a high-paid executive. Actually, a high-paid executive is probably the best because you'll be able to qualify for the mortgages the best. So you can actually do this alongside of everything else, and it's tried and true. And as you can see, it actually, in this case, of 3.5% down, it performs twice as good as the Nasdaq. Other than that, if you have any questions, like I said, put them in the comments area, and thank you.